going?
News from the booth!
I recently received another request from a viewer. I'll read it. I recently subscribed to your channel. Hey, thanks. I like your soundproofing. Did you make the larger white panels yourself? Thanks for the comment, Craig. Yes, I did make them myself, which is saying something because I can barely make my bed. I realized very quickly after looking around online that I would not be able to afford professional pre-made panels. And this stuff, this kind of foamy, thin stuff, it's worthless. So I figured I was going to have to learn how to make it myself. So I scoured the internet and I found a YouTube channel called Booth Junkie by Mike Delgadio. You got to check it out. So much great information. I'll link to it in the description. Now, he made a panel that you hang on the wall like a picture. So in my control room, I needed some of those that I could hang and then take down and move around. But in here, in my booth, I pretty much just have everything shoved up against the wall. So I don't really need to hang anything. So I made some different kinds of panels without the hanging wire. And then later, I had to modify it more when I had to make the ceiling clouds, and then I had to modify it again when I had to make the smaller, narrow panels that I put in the back of the room. So today we're going to start with how to make the basic panel. No wires, no wood backing, just a simple, straightforward, relatively inexpensive acoustic panel. And just to cut to the chase here, essentially you're using glue to wrap one of these 2x4 panels like a birthday present. And that's it. This video is going to be a little bit longer than the ones I normally do, but I move pretty fast, so here we go.
Before you get started, you have to be wearing the proper safety stuff. You need a long sleeve shirt. It's important to have a mask, a mask that keeps the particulates out. Also, gloves are really important. Let me get a little close up of that. I've been using these gloves for a few panels already. The glue gets all over them, the fiberglass or the Rockwool gets all over the place, and you're going to want these on for sure. This lovely stuff here is Owens Corning 703. It's really good if you're going to build panels that you're going to hang on your wall because it's light. It's really light. It's rigid so that it doesn't flex or anything, and if you put wires in it to hang it up like a picture, it really holds its shape well, and you won't find that it rips out or that it deforms in any way after you put it together. There's an airplane. I have to wait until the airplane's gone. This is called Rockwool. Sometimes it's called mineral wool. It's heavier than the 703 for sure. But if you notice, it's not as thick. You have the same sound treatment properties that you would in a 4-inch with a 3-inch with the Rockwool. This stuff, it's got a little bit of give to it. And it's much, much heavier, so it's not good for if you're going to make the panels that hang on the wall with the wire, because it's way too heavy, it'll rip out. It's not as rigid, it's not as strong. So also would be prone to rip out, and it's way too flexible. Let's move on to the fabrics. So the first thing I bought was this burlap. It wasn't very expensive. I think it was $3 or $4 a yard, but it wrinkles really easy. When you try to glue it using the glue onto the Rockwool or the fiberglass, it comes out very wrinkly. It's hard to keep it smooth, but it is very porous. I mean, you can see through, you can see the fibers, you can kind of see through. I used something different the second time. I used canvas, and I bought this from a place called Big Duck Canvas. You can't really see through it, but it doesn't wrinkle nearly as badly as the burlap. Like I said, see how this kind of is flexible, kind of goes wiggly woggly. Wish me luck. This is the tough part. Because once you get it on, you make a mistake, it's really hard to get it off. You get the idea. You use a lot of glue. Open the center, kind of press it out. The smoother you can make it, the better. This is why you have gloves. Because when you're making these panels, you're gonna get glue on the gloves because there's just glue everywhere. You don't want that on your hands. But as you do this, it really works well. Really kind of smooth it into the grooves of what you're using. Let's do the other side. My panel is wrapped. This panel will not hang on the wall. It's just going to be for actually setting on the edge of my control room desk because it doesn't have. I'm using the Rockwool. It's not really hangable. It's too heavy. But once you're done with your edges, there's one more step you need to do, and it's really important actually. You got to flip this bad boy over. You're going to want to let these dry. The glue will set half a day or so, but the fumes from that glue, oh gosh, it's horrible. You're going to want to let that air out in a well-ventilated area for several days before you put it in a closed environment like a room or a control room or something. Because the smell, it's you can taste how awful it is. It's gross. But that's basically it. That's how you make the panel.
So there you go. That's how you make one of these acoustic panels, and they're not very expensive. In fact, the total cost for the 703 panel is $38, and the total cost for the Rockwool panel is $32, which is a lot cheaper than what you'll find online. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps. See you next time.